Hello and welcome to episode number 5 of this series. In this episode, we're going to model a many-to-many relationship with introducing a new entity called enrollment, and then again we're going to update the AppDB context for that relationship. We're going to create a new migration and then update the database. So we're going to model, as I said, a many-to-many relationship between a student and a course, meaning that a student can take multiple courses and one single course can be taken by multiple students. We're going to create a joining entity called enrollment. One enrollment is going to contain the information of one single enrollment for a student inside of a course. And then we're going to add that to our DB context, and we're going to migrate the database. So let's talk a little bit about the relationship. We are going to develop a many-to-many relationship, meaning that a student can enroll in many courses. Pay attention to the ubiquitous language here if you're familiar with DDD. So we're going to name the entity, the join table, the junction table, as it is sometimes called, enrollment. So because a student, this is the ubiquitous language of our domain, can enroll in many courses, and one course can have many students. So a many-to-many relationship. In relational databases, especially with EF Core, we represent this using junction table. We're going to create this entity called enrollment. And as I said, the enrollment is going to contain the information of one single enrollment, the enrollment of a student inside of a course. So for that, we're going to have a reference to our student using the navigation property and the foreign key. We're going to have a reference to that course that the student has enrolled in, again using a navigation property and a course ID. And we're going to create a datetime property called enrolled on. Of course, we can have other properties here as well, like for example grade. Let's say a student has enrolled inside of a course, so we probably need to kind of keep the score that the student has obtained in that course. So feel free to add other properties if you need them. And then we're going to add navigation properties to a student and course, because using a student we're going to be able to see the enrollments of that student, and again using a course we're going to be able, or we need to be able to see the enrollments associated with that course. Let me go ahead. I have created a new branch, as you can see here. So I'm going to close out these and go to my Solution Explorer. I'm going to create a new model class called enrollment. So I'm going to get rid of this and create my entity that kind of represents the many-to-many relationship between a student and the course. So the references for a student and the references for a course. And then the enrolled on date. As I said, the next step for us would be to add navigation properties, right, inside of the course as well as the student. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Again, if you want to know more about clean architecture, domain modeling, and these rather advanced concepts, feel free to check out the playlist that I have on the channel about clean architecture. So again, that is going to be really helpful. Right now, I'm not following many of those practices, because if I did follow them, the course would be very long. But yeah, check out that playlist. It's going to be really helpful. The next step would be to update our AppDB context. We're going to add this DB set, and we're going to override on model creating, because we want to model the relationship between the courses and the enrollments and the students. So as you can see, for the entity called enrollment, it has a student with many enrollments, and the foreign key is the student ID. Again, it has course with many enrollments, it has the foreign key as course ID. So for a many-to-many relationship inside of relational databases, you have this join table. And the two entities, in this case, course and a student, have one-to-many relationship with that join table, with that join entity. And that creates your many-to-many relationship. So let me go ahead to my AppDB context. The first thing would be to add that enrollments DB set, and then override the unmodel creating for the relationships. I need to remove these, and I guess I need to get rid of this extra closing brace as well. Yeah, we're fine. So we have a composite key on a student ID and a course ID. These two keys together kind of create the unique key for the records we have inside of our join table, inside of our enrollments. And then we've got two foreign key relationships. The next step would be to run the migration as always, and then update the database, and then we're going to verify the enrollment table inside of our database, and we're going to verify the relationships as well. As I said, you can add other properties to that joined entity if you want, like grade, like completion date, is completed, and so on. Right now we have only one property. Now as I said, the next step would be to migrate the database. So I'm going to add a new migration called add migration. And then I'm going to call update database. So the database is updated. I can refresh it. Enrollments, the courses, as we said, has this instructor ID foreign key. And if you take a look at the constraints, you can see that instructor ID is that foreign key we talked about. And we've got the enrollments. So enrollments, it has again a composite key using a student ID and course ID, and it has this payload for enrolled date. So as you can see, the course ID and a student ID are the foreign keys. And we've got the instructor as well. We've got the ID, name, and email. And the primary key for instructors is ID. And then we've got the students as well. We've got ID, full name, name, date of birth, and we've got the PK students here as well. So the database has been migrated. Now let's get back to the notes. Right now we've got a many-to-many relationship working for our database using EF Core. Students enrolled in our course are enrolled in our course using that joined entity enrollment, and PostgreSQL is reflecting that many-to-many relationship. And that's it for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. We're going to add some new controllers, some action methods in future episodes. Stay tuned.